Hey, everybody. I mean, I know there's no reason for you to be interested in the fact that I'm here because look who's here with me. This is Cap, and I promise you, this is not going to last long. If I keep this up, she will exsanguinate me. Okay. She just wanted to say hi. She's feeling a little clingy today. I don't know why, but say Happy New Year. Yeah, she's shy. Actually, she's not shy at all. I'm just waiting. I think what she's doing is figuring out how how to cut me. All right, that's it. Hopefully she'll stop by later. Happy holidays. Sorry I'm late. Slay was behind schedule. I don't know if you know this, but Rudolph can be a bit of a diva. Anyway, it is good to be here with you. And I actually didn't really want to talk about in my intro. I didn't really want to talk about the news too much. It's been a very long century. It's been a long couple of weeks. And in getting ready, as I've mentioned to you, we are taking a bit of a break because my team is the hardest working team in the business. Actually, I think that's too narrow. In the world, so it's very important that they get a break, which required lots of prep. So they've been working more than they usually do, which is wildly unfair. And I am personally putting a call into HR because it's just not acceptable. Anyway, so because of that, in part, I have been thinking about this last year. I say that as if I'm the only person on the planet who actually takes a look back at things at the end of the year. Okay, that's not unique to me. But let's be fair. This has, I think it's fair to say, been the worst year in America. I mean, as an American, for us as a country, in at least in my lifetime, if not in modern history. Uh, so yeah, so we have been just looking back and trying to put things into context and also trying, as I think we all should, to focus on the things about this year that helped to get us through. So instead of doing this at the end, I wanted to at least start doing this now. Obviously, I don't know if you are aware, but last year I wrote a Substack that just kind of summed up, some of my better experiences of the year. And, 2024 wasn't exactly an easy year either. But things like um, the shared experience of the eclipse in New York, an exhibit at the Metropolitan Museum of Sienese art, my favorite rewatches, Elementary and Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And on that list was the best decision I ever made, starting Mary Trump Media. So it has been a tricky journey. This is true. But it does remain one of the best decisions I've made because look at this community that you have all created. Look at the work we've all done together. Look at all the experiences we've shared. Many of which, quite frankly, have been traumatic. From the I'm trying to think. Let's see. Well, certainly the election of 2024. Some absolutely egregious Supreme Court decisions. Joe Biden stepping down from the race. My being a surrogate Oh, wow, almost forgot about that. I was a surrogate for President Biden at the debate in Atlanta. Ask me how much fun I had. No. Um, the election night itself, the transition period during which we really had every reason to expect the Democrats, presumably led by Kamala Harris, would do everything in their power to make sure that the Trump regime was slowed down, that it was interrupted in its ability to destroy American democracy. That didn't happen. The inauguration, it's been a lot. And because I imagine, like me, all of you, regardless, pay attention to things. It has been not just bearable. I mean, honestly, sometimes it's been unbearable no matter what, but actually comforting to be able to share this with you. And again, that would not have happened if we hadn't started Mary Trump Media, whenever that was. I think it was in the summer of 24. So, several dozen millennia ago. But we got through it. And now here we are on the precipice of what is going to be the most important election of our lifetime. I know. Aren't we sick of hearing that? But it's true. 2016 was the most important election, and then 2020 was, and then 2024 was. And now, because time doesn't behave itself anymore, a midterm election is going to be the most important election. And then 2028 will be more important than that. So we have every intention of continuing to do what we do here. We'll be doing more of it, and we will be doing things in different ways, all of which we will keep you apprised of as we go. But before we started the official show, I did, instead of waiting until the end, I wanted to thank every single one of you for being here, for continuing to show up, for continuing to share, for your comments, for your support, for all of it. So again, we're not going anywhere. And I don't know if it's possible, but I guess we're going to find out. We're going to work even harder in 2026. So we're going to need you even more. Let's dive in. Hello again, and welcome to tonight's episode of Mary Trump Live. It is actually the last episode of 2025. Good riddance, 2025. Riddance. Sorry, I mispronounced that. Yeah, it's been a year, but again, what's fascinating about 2025, it has been a combination of the lowest of lows and the highest of highs. We're going to be putting out a video during the break in which I discuss the highs, because it's important to focus on that stuff. It really, truly, truly is. And just, I will remind you of this is the end as well. But yes, we're taking a break, but everybody in the team practically killed themselves to make sure that during said break, you are going to have new content being released on Mary Trump Media YouTube channel every single day. Starting tomorrow, we'll have at least 2 videos every single day until we come back on Monday, July 5th. Wow. That, my friends, is what they call a Freudian slip. I think that means that on some unconscious, probably very conscious level, actually. I wish we had until July 5th. Did I give it away? Sorry. January, we will be back. I promise you on January 5th. If I'm not back until July 5th, please, please alert the National Guard. Because that means something has gone terribly awry. Anyway, let's get to some news. Earlier this morning, the Department of Justice released a massive new batch of materials from the Jeffrey Epstein investigation. According to CBS News, the release includes more than 11,000 files, totaling nearly 30,000 pages, photos, emails, court records, FBI, DOJ documents, news clippings, videos. Now, many of these newly released documents include references to Donald. One document, however, stands out. CBS News reports that a 2020 email written by an unnamed New York prosecutor states that flight logs show Donald flew on Epstein's private jet at least 8 times. Quote, "For your situational awareness, I wanted to let you know that the flight records we received reflect that Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously had been reported or that we were aware, including during the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case. In particular, he's listed as a passenger on at least 8 flights between 1993 and 1996, including at least 4 flights on which Maxwell was also present. He is listed as having traveled with, among others, and at various times, Marla Maples, his daughter Tiffany, and his son Eric. On one flight in 1993, he and Epstein are the only 2 listed passengers. On another, the only 3 passengers are Epstein, Donald, and then 20-year-old. I assume that's redacted. On 2 other flights, 2 of the passengers, respectively, were women who would be possible witnesses in a Maxwell case. We've just finished reviewing the full records, more than 100 pages, a very small script, and didn't want any of this to be a surprise down the road," unquote. Well, not a surprise, but this acknowledgement from a federal prosecutor in 2020 has raised new questions about what investigators knew at the time and what was made public. Of course, we also have to keep in mind that if the DOJ is releasing this kind of information, we have to, given how what's the word I'm looking for? Disreputably and unconvincingly and suspiciously they've handled the Epstein case from the beginning of Donald's coming back into the Oval Office. The Justice Department attempted to contextualize the release, saying on Twitter that some documents contain, quote, "untrue and sensationalist claims," unquote, about Donald that were submitted to the FBI shortly before the 2020 election, referring to outside tips that were logged but not substantiated. The latest Epstein files also included a disputed letter allegedly sent to convicted sex offender Larry Nassar from Epstein while he was in prison in New York City. While Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer is pressing the DOJ to explain why 10 potential Epstein co-conspirators were never prosecuted, which is a really good question. Jeffrey Epstein his case has been handled poorly from the beginning, and I mean from the beginning back to when he was convicted of raping an underage girl, a girl, and Pam Bondi and Alex Acosta essentially allowed Jeffrey Epstein to come and go as he pleased between the jail and his home, where he continued to commit crimes, sex crimes, against girls and young women. Every single administration, Democratic, Republican, has handled this horribly. If this information was there, why did we not know about it until the one person who seems most interested in covering up was back in power? Hopefully, there will be more. Hopefully, the information that we're getting will be substantiated, because The survivors of Epstein, the families of those who did not survive him, need to know the truth. They need to be vindicated, and more than anything else, they need some semblance of justice. And there are certain people, not mentioning any names, who need to give them an apology. Switching gears, the Department of Education said today that the Trump regime will begin garnishing the wages of student loan borrowers in default in January, expanding enforcement that began earlier this year. Starting the week of January 7th, about 1,000 defaulted borrowers will receive notices, with more sent monthly, according to an unsigned department email. Yeah, I guess that's what the Department of Education is for now. Yeah. The department said collection activities are conducted only after student and parent borrowers have been provided sufficient notice and opportunity to repay their loans, but did not specify how much would be withheld. This move ends a pandemic-era repayment pause that began in March 2020 and was extended several times under the Biden administration. Payments resumed in October 2023, and about 5 million borrowers are in default. Here's NPR with more information for student and parent borrowers in regard to the SAVE program.
Says it has reached a proposed settlement agreement to officially shut down the student loan repayment plan known as Saving on a Valuable Education, or SAVE. Remember, SAVE was so flexible, generous, and costly. The Republicans sued the Biden administration, and the courts froze it, putting the plan in a kind of legal limbo until now. If you're one of the roughly 7 million borrowers still in SAVE, here's what you need to know. 1, pending court approval, the department will begin moving all borrowers in SAVE into other repayment plans. There's no timeline yet, but be on the lookout for an email from the department or your loan servicer. 2, these other alternative repayment plans probably aren't going to be as flexible or as generous as SAVE was, so prepare yourself. 3, a little bit of good news, a few of these plans are, like SAVE, still based on your income, so the less you make, the less you'll have to pay each month. Finally, go to studentaid.gov and you can see all of your options there. I also highly recommend using their loan simulator. So you plug in your personal information and you can see what plan makes the most sense for you. And one more thing, keep in mind, defaulting on your loans is probably going to cost you more time, more money, and more heartache in the long run than paying them back. Good luck.
Yes, good luck. There's no good news here. This is despicable. Joe Biden forgave thousands of student loans, and the Republican Party, again, sued him to stop that from happening, and the Supreme Court put an end to it. That's the priority of the Department of Education under Republicans, to go after the wages of people who cannot afford to repay their student loans. And again, many of them thought they had their loans forgiven. So they probably started making different financial choices in the wake of that knowledge. But nothing, no promise needs to be kept. No deal can't be unmade, because the Trump regime is solely in the business of stealing as much money as possible from the American people, including people who just got student loans because they wanted to better themselves and give themselves a shot at a better future with more options. I guess that's not the American way anymore, is it? Happy New Year, I guess. On to the ongoing horrific saga of Kilmar Abrego Garcia. He's going to be able to spend Christmas with his family after spending much of the year in custody, despite the fact that his arrest and detention were both illegal and unconstitutional. Check out this clip.
So the government gave the district judge gave the government until the 26th of December, that is to say Friday, to actually answer the question. What is your plan for Mr. Abrego Garcia? Are you planning to rearrest him? If so, why? We'll then have the opportunity to respond to that, and then based on that, the judge will decide whether to convert her temporary order prohibiting his rearrest into a permanent order or whether to dissolve it. So as of right now, Mr. Abrego Garcia is going to return to his home with his wife and his children and his family members in Maryland. And he will be at home through Christmas and New Year.
Okay, well, at least until Friday, he'll be home. I don't have any faith in the government's willingness to let this go, even though they are on the wrong side of every single issue. They seem to be determined to make an example of Mr. Abrego Garcia, even though he is guilty of absolutely nothing. Certainly none of what they accuse him of. Mr. Abrego Garcia's attorneys have until December 30th to respond to whatever arguments the government makes. Lydia Walther Rodriguez, an organizer with the community group CASA, said in an email, quote, "This decision means Gilmore gets to sleep in his own bed in the next coming days without the fear of being separated from his family and community in the middle of the night," unquote. Again, I hope that's the case. I just don't see any reason to believe that the Donald Trump DOJ is going to abide by a judge's order. Maybe. This temporary restraining order does bar Immigration and Customs Enforcement from detaining Mr. Abrego Garcia. That remains in effect. But again, I will believe it when I see it. All right, we have some announcements. As I said earlier, Mary Trump Live will resume on apparently July 5th. No, January 5th. Until then, please like the videos, subscribe to the channel, share the videos, hit the notification bell, and choose all. That way you will allegedly, I'm not entirely sure this works anymore on YouTube, but allegedly, if you hit that bell icon and click all, you will be alerted every time a new video drops. Let us know. Also, please check out our merchandise. We like it. And we think you will too. It's very festive. And it's kind of straight and to the point. Right? It's sort of representative of the Mary Trump media channel, I think. Don't vote for fascist. It's pretty simple. And read bad books. And this is where fake news goes today. So see? And kindness equals strength. Let's not forget that one. See, I just covered all my bases. All right, now to the contest. We had so many amazing holiday mashed potato merch designs submitted. We are still trying to figure out which one to choose. You guys totally knocked it out of the park. You went above and beyond. So we want to show you some of our favorite submissions so you'll understand why this is such a difficult choice. Now, every single one of them is cool, but I think part of the calculus here is what will work on a t-shirt, because there's some things we need to keep in mind in terms of the complexity, how many colors we use, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm going to check out some of the designs we love. This first one is from Deposit 2024. We have one from David P. Here's from Melanie C. This one is from AJG. Oh yeah, make potatoes great again. And of course, one of our awesome mods, Ghostly Air 59. Look how cool. An awesome illustrated cartoon from DWS. And this one by Jaden, sent in by his grandma Pam. In it, Donald says, "I'm a dumb pumpkin." That's fantastic. We had so many more that we liked, but unfortunately, we can't choose all of them. So we're still working it through. do us a favor, help us out, help us narrow it down. Let us know which ones you like best in the comments, so we can narrow it down a little bit more, and then we'll do a vote on the YouTube community notes when we get back, and hopefully have the design up and running for purchase sometime later in January. So thank you again to everybody who submitted a design. It was so obvious that you guys worked very hard on them, and we truly, truly appreciate that. I mean, I can barely draw stick figures, so I am always blown away when people have actual artistic talent. It's so cool. And again, we truly, truly appreciate it. With that, we have reached not just tonight's emotional support moment, but the very last emotional support moment of Marriage Up Live, anyway, for 2025. What did they say? Don't let the door hit you. That's what we're going to say into 2025. It is only Tuesday, but it has been already a long, hard week of news after a long, hard, and oftentimes heavy year. So let us pause, take a nice deep breath, and let's look at one of my favorite things. These are humpback whales off the coast of one of my favorite places on the planet, Maui. So watch as they breach, crash back into the water. These are powerful, playful, intelligent, warm, wonderful creatures. Enjoy. Can we start doing the show from Maui? If we can start doing the show from Maui, I will come back before July 5th. Oh, I just realized something. Something about July 5th. Story for another time. Anyway, let's get to your questions and comments, etc. Hang on one second. Cap is still here. I'm hoping that she is going to make another appearance because she's adorable. She has this new habit. As some of you may know, we added a dog to our family a few months ago, and it's been rough going. But finally, the cats and our dog Millie are all in the same room together. And sometimes, though, Cap decides she needs to take a little break. But instead of leaving, she just makes a cave out of the blanket on the couch. So just see her paw stretched out. It's quite adorable. Right, Cap? Yeah, she knows she is. She doesn't have to pay any attention to me. All right, here we go. Ginger is a new member. Thank you so much and welcome. Elaine, another new member. Welcome to you. I'm sensing a theme. George, another new member. Thank you. It's great to have you here. Dorothy, thank you so much, as always. Gifted 5 Mary Trump Media memberships. That is awesome. Bizarre Love Muffin 96. Thank you. And this is a happy fucking holiday swear jar fee. Yes, it is. Because you said so. Linda, thank you for gifting one Mary Trump Media membership. That's awesome. Mida Cheryl, thank you as always for gifting one Mary Trump Media membership. And the always anticipated Mida Cheryl too for thank you very much for that comment. Happy holidays, whatever you celebrate, and a happy, healthy, prosperous, and peaceful new year. Insert money for JC Swear Jar and for kitty treats. Awesome. Consider it done. Mendenos, thank you very, very much. This is in honor of losing my black cat Akashafi. Oh, we're so sorry. I'm very, very sorry. Yeah, that is the only downside to having pets. When we lose them, because obviously they don't live as long as we do. So I hope Akasha did not suffer and that her last moments with you were full of love. Susan, thank you so much as always. Comment, thank you to the hardest working team on independent media. You rock, Mary, Lexi, and entire Mary Trump Media team. Happy holidays. Thank you to this awesome community. Well, thank you, Susan, truly, because you are one of the people who keeps this community together and safe. Linda has been a member for 4 months. That's fantastic. Comment, thank you for the kitty cameo. Merry Christmas. Well, I think we need to thank Kat for that because she didn't slit my wrists. So, which she can and sometimes wants to do. Susan, thank you again. Comment, Mary, your 1-year anniversary of the very first broadcast of Mary Trump Live was January 6, 2025. Congrats. Oh, wow. Really? That's incredible. Fascinating. Thank you for that information. Jana, wow. That is extraordinarily kind of you and very generous, and we appreciate it. Comment, thanks to you and your team for all you've done this year and next. Y'all are the best. Also wanted to thank you for your newest book. It was a life changer for me this year. I owe you a debt of gratitude. Happy holidays. Well, that's extremely kind. I really appreciate that. That book means a lot to me. So that is very, very wonderful to hear. Thank you. In the middle of nowhere, thank you as always. Comment, I'm on blood thinners. Sorry. Cap's busy. Can't hear this because she does. Cap would probably make me bleed out. That's just quiet. However, what a good looking cat. She is adorable. Although a little hefty. I've been told to do something about that. I don't know if you people are Hayao Miyazaki fans, but Spirited Away is one of my favorite movies of all time. And there's a character in Spirited Away called No Face. And No Face, who has issues, goes on a rampage and ends up eating a lot of people and gets very large in the process. And sometimes Cap looks a little bit like the No Face. But would never eat people. Although the cutting part, yeah, that's a different issue entirely. I'm going to continue within the middle of nowhere's comment. Sorry, I'm totally extemporizing or whatever the word is. Okay, comment. I've had many cats over the years and have loved them all. Minnie, Shiler, Sadie, Snickers, Twix, Kit Kat, Brie, Cheddar. Wow, miss your company. Those are awesome names. Many food names. Yeah, cats. Listen, I love all animals. I am a cat person. It's awesome having a dog. And I look forward to the day when the cats and the dog can peacefully coexist without constant monitoring. But yes, if you're on blood thinners, stay away from Cap. I'm making Cap sound like a problematic. She's not. She just has her limits. She will let you know when she's had enough petting, and it usually occurs around the 7-second mark. And stay away from her belly. Consider yourself warned. Linda has been a member for 2 months. Fabulous. Comment, congrats on 500,000K, Mary. Well, thank you. It took much longer to get there than we would have liked, but it is nice finally to have crossed that threshold. 1 million is really where we want to be. Nanner8, thank you very much as always. Comment, very happy to be part of this with you all. If we have to go through this, you are the best people to join with. Thank you for you, everyone. My sentiments exactly. You guys are truly wonderful. Mary the Jedi, thank you very, very much. Comment, congratulations on reaching 500K subscribers to the YouTube channel. And thank you, Mary, for everything that you've done for the last year. You're awesome. Well, thank you. I mean, you guys honestly make it easy. You make it worthwhile. And obviously, if it weren't for you, we wouldn't be here anyway. Susan, thank you again for gifting 5 Mary Trump Media memberships. I must hydrate. Excuse me. Rick Robin, thank you very, very much. Question, what does Baron do with Andrew Tate? Baron is my cousin. I don't know him. I've never met him. He's, I think, 19. So I have nothing to say about his relationship with Andrew Tate. What I will say to you is Andrew Tate is a monster. And any parents who allow their child anywhere near him are also monsters. So in my view, that's not about Baron. That is about his hideous parents. Sorry. In the middle of nowhere, thank you as always. Comment, happy holidays, and sadly, the continuing need for the JC swear jar. P.S. Your ornament is on my tree. Oh, hooray. Thank you so much. Yeah, that ornament is awesome. And we have Lexi to thank for that, by the way. And yes, the JC swear jar, which doesn't stand for what you might think it stands for. It stands for Joe Colorado. Tiva369, thank you very much. That's excellent. Comment, season's greetings from Captain Picard in the Nexus. Thank you, Captain Picard. Quick reminder, Bob and I recorded some Trek Politics episodes, so there will be a Trek Politics episode every Sunday from now until we get back. And the last one, let's see, I'm trying to think. I don't remember. Can't expect me to keep track of these things. But the last one we did, which I think is going to be the first one of 2026, is it's not your typical Trek Politics episode. We actually just have a blast talking about our 3 favorite Star Trek the original series episodes. It was really, really fun. So definitely check that one out. And no, I'm not telling you what mine are. You'll have to watch the episode. Oh, hello, Cap. Hi. Want to come say hi? She does not. And we respect the Cap's autonomy. Tgal924 has been a member for 7 months. That's amazing. Thank you. Comment, Mary, team, and mods. You are appreciated so much. Well, thank you. And we appreciate the fact that you're here. Rick Robin, thank you again. Question, is that misogynist Andrew Tate the kind of role model Baron Trump wants to surround himself with? Well, again, I mean, look, I know that in America, 18 is an adult, but as far as I'm concerned, you're still a kid. And if you're surrounded by people like Melania and Donald, and his actual adult children. I mean, seriously, what hope? Andrew Tate. I mean, Andrew Tate is a free man because of Donald Trump. Just so you know. Andrew Tate is a rapist and a sex trafficker of girls and young women, just like Jeffrey Epstein. And he is a rich man with influence and power and connections. And because he supports Donald made sure he got set free. I don't know that there is a worse person on the planet than Andrew Tate. So, yeah. The parents. Living art geckos. Cool. Thank you very, very much. Comment, if you get a gecko, they can live 15 to 25 years. Yes. We had a rescue leopard gecko. I don't know how old she was, though, when we got her. Sadly, she died this year, but I think she lived a fairly long time. Definitely not 25 years, but over 10. She was a sweetie pie, actually. Her name was Nemo. Short Pam, thank you very, very much. Comment, Mary, will we be treated to the return of the Nerd Avengers in 2026? Happy holidays. Yes, you will. We have plans. We're very excited about it. Again, there's a lot of stuff happening behind the scenes, which we will be talking to you about in January. So get ready. Very cool stuff. Fraunhouse, thank you so much, as always. Comment, thank you, Mary and team, for all you do. Came for the Trek politics originally, but stayed for the political content. That's great. Also, guys, it can work the other way around. I promise you. Even though I'm German, I'm watching developments in the U.S. with the greatest concern. Well, that's the great irony of our times. People in Germany, people in Great Britain, people in other European countries are more plugged into what's going on here than most Americans are. So, I mean, it's kind of astonishing. And that's part of the reason we're here. Edwin is a new member. Thanks so much, Edwin. It's wonderful to have you here. Stacy has been a member for 1 month. Fantastic. Comment, my Sphinx cats, Stitch and AJ, said their love. And Cap. Let's just go with Cap says hi. Hey, Stitch and AJ. Sorry, I'm trying to figure out what Cap is doing. I don't know if she's plotting my death or if she just wants some pets. I'm going to be hopeful. Julie, thank you very, very much. Comment 500,000 K. What? Congratulations. There's a dollar sign there that should be there. Just means 500,000 subscribers. Free subscribers to the YouTube channel, which is awesome. But quick reminder, subscribing to the Mary Trump Media YouTube channel doesn't cost anything. Just hit subscribe. Ta-da! And what it means is, like, the more subscribers we have, the more our content gets pushed out to other people, the more people subscribe. It's a thing. It's kind of important. So, yeah, awesome. Thank you to every single one of you who has subscribed. Champagne Hand has been a member for 7 months, which is phenomenal. Comment, love and appreciation to you all. Happy holidays, and happy holidays to you as well. Sorry, I must hydrate. Stacy, thank you very, very much for that. Very, very generous. Comment, Christmas Yule Kitty treat toy fee. Hear that, Cap? Yes, she did hear that. She's chewing on the extension cord. She's busy. Don't get electrocuted. I'm just kidding. She's fine. Susan, thank you again. My goodness. Comment, Trek Politics, every Sunday at 6 Eastern. Join us in the live chat. Next episode, the empath. That's right, the empath. Okay, the empath. It's not one of those episodes that's people talk about. It's, I don't think it's on people's top 10 or 20 or even 30 list. However, and Bob and I talk about this in the episode because it was my idea to watch it together. I've been saying this publicly anyway since 2020. It is a very difficult time in America to be a human being with empathy. This episode is about that concept in a way. And what's really fascinating to me about it, I saw the empath when I was a little tiny child. I could not have been more than 5, 6, or 7. And it stuck with me. So my suggestion to you, watch the episode and then watch the conversation Bob and I have about it. Would love to know what you think. So thank you, Susan. Living Art Geckos, thank you very, very much. Comment, new listener, you need Gecko. I'll hook you up. Message. I have to be honest. I, as a kid, well, after my parents got divorced, because my mother was deathly afraid of snakes, but my dad really liked reptiles. So when he got his own place, we had boa constrictor, a ball python, a couple of earth snakes, a corn snake, a couple of garter snakes. We had an iguana and a tortoise. The iguana was named Izzy. The tortoise was named Tomato. The python was named Peter. The boa constrictor was named Baby Benjamin. You get the idea. I was tiny. I named things like that. Anyway, so yeah, so like I've been around reptiles my whole life and I'm very comfortable with them. But I hadn't had one for a long time, and then a friend of mine, for reasons I don't know, I still don't know, got me 2 iguanas. And one sadly didn't last long, but then I had Amadeus for I don't know, 15 years maybe. And Amadeus was amazing. And then when my daughter was growing up, we had bearded dragons, and then we adopted or rescued this leopard gecko. But I have to be honest with you, when you have a couple of cats and a dog, it's just a different kind, because I think reptiles deserve a different kind of, not more or less, but a different kind of care. For example, our leopard gecko, we had a beetle farm for her because the worm, they eat worms, and the worms you get at they're like packed in sawdust, and I can't imagine they have any nutritional value. So we grew our own beetles and worms. So and we fed them cornmeal and all the things you're supposed to feed them, so that Nemo would have a high nutrient meal. And it was, it's a whole thing. So I think, as much as we miss Nemo, and I still miss our bitter dragons and Amadeus, I think we're taking a break from the reptiles. They just take a different kind of care. And we travel a lot too. Good luck finding somebody who's going to hand feed your leopard gecko worms. No. It's not a thing. Or it might be, but it's not an easy thing. Put it that way. And finally, Grace, all over the place. SEK 27. Oh wow. Sorry, I'm reading the currency. Thank you very much for that comment. The current president will go down as Donald Trump. Well, perhaps I myself am thinking Hitler. But let's hope it doesn't get that far. And you know what? It's up to us. We have 11 months to make sure that once again, and hopefully finally, we snatch democracy from the jaws of autocracy and worse. So, this is what I want you guys to do. I want you, like we're doing, to take a break. We're back on January 5th. Again, we have videos dropping every day. Watch the videos. But whenever possible, unplug. Go see a show. Go to a museum. Go for a walk. Go out for a lovely meal. Meet up with friends for a drink. Read poetry. Write a poem. Knit something. Learn something new. Pick up an instrument. We have to take care of ourselves, because then it'll be easier to take care of each other. And I'm telling you, one thing I learned this year is that it is possible. It is absolutely possible to find joy in the darkest moments. But that doesn't mean that the dark moments aren't still very dark. 2026 is going to be very challenging. We need each other, and we need to make sure that we take care of ourselves. So, you have your marching orders, and maybe I'm actually going to listen to my own advice. So this has been quite a ride. Thank you for being on it with us. Again, we will be back not July 5th, but January 5th. We've got a few days off, and then we're heading to London for a few days. So there are a bunch of interesting people going to be seeing over there. So I, maybe make some videos, even though I'm not supposed to. Wherever you are, whatever you celebrate, find some peace. Find something that feeds your soul. Be kind to yourselves. Reach out to other people. So anybody who celebrated Hanukkah, I hope you had a lovely Hanukkah. Anybody celebrating Christmas Eve, Christmas, Boxing Day, have a most wonderful holiday. Anybody celebrating Kwanzaa. And I think whether we celebrate it or not, New Year's Eve is just a thing. So, Happy New Year to each and every one of you. Thank you for everything you do. And we will see you in 2026, re-energized and ready. Because it's going to be quite something. In the meantime, everybody, please stay safe and be kind.